The term social media comes with some rather modern connotations. It's attached to computers, mobile devices, online experiences in an increasingly wireless world. But if you think about it, in an offline way, social media has been with us for centuries, even longer. Street art, graffiti, predates television, radio, even the printing press, yet it remains a powerful communications tool, one used to great effect, for instance, during the Arab uprisings. Street art is like a leading edge indicator. It's a political warning sign that tends to appear and attract attention long before the activists actually hit the streets. And when revolutions achieve their goals and governments fall, demonstrators may go back to their lives, but the artists stay on the job, making the most of their newfound freedom of expression, hoping that it lasts. The Listening Post's Meenakshi Ravi now on the writing on the wall, the low-tech end of social media in the Arab world.
Scenes of an unsanctioned protest in Benghazi today.
Global media told the story of the Libyan revolution one way. Gaddafi's media told it another way. And the oldest media of them all, street art, was making its own quiet revolution in North Africa.
We were oppressed. We couldn't express our views. Nobody was allowed to paint on walls. Graffiti was something risky under Gaddafi. Creativity was stifled under him. Because of his tyrannical rule and arrogance, he always behaved as if he was the most important person on earth and the rest are but animals. He enjoyed being treated like a god.
Street art is really a place for art to be completely free out of any system, institution, putting artwork where no one asked them to do it, where it's really from their own beliefs.
Egypt, February 2011. President Mubarak pulled the plug on the internet, trying to kill the social media that was spurring the protesters.
The Egyptian government has stepped up its clampdown on the media and communication services.
Internet and cell phone communication had largely been shut down.
Egyptians went low-tech. They went to the walls to safeguard their revolution.
I think that the graffiti that appeared during the revolution and after the revolution was very poignant and very symbolic for the uprising in Tahrir. It was a direct reflection of people's statements of what they were trying to say. And it was integral because at a time when the internet was cut and then the phone lines were cut and there wasn't enough international media presence on the streets in Tahrir to cover the protests accurately, people took to the wall and they started writing messages on the wall. Street art spoke directly to the people, or was a medium that was directly for a person on the street.
Street art, graffiti particularly, functions as a reflection of the environment that the people who are creating it in. So it's almost as like a communication platform for the disenfranchised. You have a group of people who have no other way of communicating. You have a message that's being portrayed to everyone. This person was killed. Stop this other person from doing these things. That directly affects the environment that it's being placed in. So much in the way like Twitter today.
Street art has long thrived anywhere people have a political point to make. Long before Facebook, Germans were posting messages on their wall. At least those in West Berlin were. In Northern Ireland, the story of the sectarian troubles is told on murals that sprung up in the 1970s and remain to this day. The wall that divides the West Bank and Israel has become a wide canvas for artists who oppose segregation as well as Israeli policies. That's the enduring appeal of this communication form. Street art does not depend on technology, and potential message boards are everywhere.
What graffiti has done is raise awareness that there is another opinion, especially where mainstream media has managed to send a certain message. You have the streets saying something else.
It's a great way basically to show controversy, to show different ideas that are right there in the street that nobody can hide. You know, you can even forbid a paper to come out that day. If it's in the street, you have to go and paint it.
Street artist JR has taken his work beyond just painting. He is of French-Tunisian descent and combines photography with his wall art to highlight stories that go untold by the mainstream media. After the uprising in Tunisia, he went over to join the photographers and street artists there.
Tunisia was not a project I started. It was a project that Tunisians started. Sent me hundreds of photos and watch them struggling with images in their own country because they've never seen street art in the, this way in the street of Tunisia. No one was aware that there could be a photo that was not a political message or an advertising. So the first time they started placing their own photos, everyone gathered in the street and was like, what is going on? Is this the new politicians? Who are those people? And it was really interesting discussion. It's the first time that they can interact with their own walls without being sued by their own state.
But one Arab revolutionary's street art is another Arab revolutionary's vandalism.
The problem that graffiti artists have now is not with the police or with the government or anything like that. They actually have a problem with the civilians, with the people themselves. It's the people that will come up to an artist and question him and ask him. And sometimes it's very friendly. And sometimes it's hostile. You know, you're ruining a public wall, how dare you? You're making it ugly. And so when graffiti comes in, it's seen as so, aggressive and so different that sometimes the reaction is quite negative.
If you're coming from some place where you relate culturally much more to graffiti as a subculture, then it's going to be much easier for you to relate to the message inside the graffiti. If you are completely outside of that subculture and you're going to perceive it as a foreign language, and you're immediately going to want to be removed from your environment because you're going to see it merely as vandalism.
But these are revolutionary times in the Arab world. And it's not just the political sphere going through change. Communications are seeing a revolution as well. Street art is part of that movement.
During all the revolution in the Arab world, what I've seen is tons of messages in the street from people, from like a tag in the street saying a political idea to someone doing a stencil, expressing a conviction or a message. And this kind of street art have helped people also to understand what was coming from the street. Because sometimes an image is much stronger than hundreds of words.
It's very diverse right now. You have graffiti that is pro-army, graffiti that's anti-SCAF, graffiti that's calling for another revolution, graffiti commemorating the dead. So there's a lot of messages out there. I think now the fear is gone with everything that's happened in Egypt. It's very hard to maintain the same fear barrier that we did before the revolution.